we're coming from 1 billionaire, and then we now get to that picture. That's $1 billion plate. Oh, it shined. It shined.
That plate that I saw just now?
It's $1 billion.
Yeah, I think I saw a teddy bear sitting inside too. Or was it not a teddy bear?
It's a teddy sandwich.
Oh, teddy sandwich.
Teddy sandwich.
Hey.
See?
You see, eyes. I need to change my glasses.
Just a quick update that...
please. My glasses, thank you.
Well, elections are ongoing right now in various parts of Nigeria. We can report to you that voting is underway in Ward 6, Unit 7 of Odo-Osun 1, Shaki West local government area of Oyo State. I'll find the details of that. Just to let you know, that elections are going on in various parts of Nigeria. 26 as at the last count that we mentioned to you earlier. I just wanted to let you know that. And
we had a report from Surulere local government earlier in the program.
This is Oyo, somewhere in Oyo State, where this election is going on right now.
Well, it seems to be a good turnout here.
Well, it seems to be a good turnout here.
200 people.
Perhaps the people are well mobilized. Well, this is maybe 1 or 2 wards, and that is actually good, right? If we had this, okay, this is the one that I just talked about. This is...
We should actually make this a topic for discussion. Why don't Nigerians like to vote?
No, we like to vote. But these elections, we understand this is somewhere in Bauchi State, Bakaro Primary School. It's a polling unit in Bauchi. We do like voting. But you see...
We've had bad experiences.
No. Who are we voting for? It's a question. Many people don't even know.
You go out and people are chasing you with cutlasses.
I mean, you don't even know the person you are voting for. You don't know the person. For instance, I don't know if you, for instance, okay, this is Benue. It's, as you can see, everything is calm.
Orderly.
Gumawan State constituent. So it is a House of Assembly by-election ongoing right now.
Very scanty.
But it's better than nothing. It's better than the first one we saw.
We'll take this. We'll take this.
Take this. Yes. I mean, it's a $1 billion this thing. Okay, this is Lagos. Don't forget that movement is restricted in Surulere, and so this is Surulere. People can walk around, but you can't drive around. If you want to drive into Surulere, you are not allowed. That's why there's this stoppage all across the nation. This is the update that we have for you. There's Taraba. Elections are also ongoing there. People don't even know who to vote for. That's the challenge. Okay, so who are we going to vote?
Who is there to choose from, please? So you go there and you just
Well, it could be argued that if you are in the local government area, you would know. They'll probably have their posters here and there. But perhaps the general information of the general mobilization of the people, I think that is the challenge. Political parties, you were asking who should be doing the mobilization earlier. Political parties have that responsibility of mobilizing voters. INEC has the responsibility of educating.
Mobilizing, educating. Learn a new word every day, like we said at the beginning of the program. Yes.
Well, this is Oyo State. Okay. Security agencies, agents, I presume, getting ready to.
This is local election.
That's quite the turnout. It's quite the turnout.
No wonder there's so many security agencies or agents around.
Yeah. Am I seeing? Is that EFCC? I don't know. So I'm just saying, why are you looking at me like that?
Well, to catch vote buyers.
Who is selling? Okay. So, well, that's part of what is ongoing right now. Different parts of the nation, 26 states we mentioned to you earlier. Subsequent bulletins and subsequent content on the station will let you know what is going on in different parts of the country. We still have some time to go out and vote. This is 11:04. That's 4 minutes past or 5 minutes past 11. So, if people are voting in your area, please go out and vote. It is safe. At least test the system to see whether or not it is working. It is not just in your own interest, it's in the interest of your children as well. And that's why, by the way, our next conversation on lifestyle is about children. Alera was talking about teddy bear the other time. Well, don't blame her. The last time she had to put children in a vehicle to go to school, so it's a little while ago. But
like I said, I have no secrets. Go ahead, tell them my age.
No, you told us yourself 2 years ago, so you're just a 7-year-old. Is this 17? I don't know. Anyway, you want your child to eat healthy? But do you know that? Do you know the nutrients that are needed for their nutrition? By the way, why they don't like vegetables, I have no idea.
Because they don't taste good.
Because they don't taste good.
I still don't like vegetables.
But you eat edikaikong?
I eat them because I have to.
No wonder. Please, let's talk to a child nutritionist with us this morning. Izieha Bolaji Olojo is a nutritionist, certified child nutrition expert with she's also an advanced nutrition expert and health coach. Thanks for joining us this morning.
Thank you for having me. Good morning.
Good morning.
Again. Good morning, Lady Alera. It's
looking so bright and happy to be here.
Thank you.
With all the calories in her hair, you take us back a long time, even before I was born.
I actually thought those were almonds. I could just pluck them. Hey, you were saying something.
Someone's hungry.
Yes, I am. No doubt about it. Nutrition for children. Let me ask you, having done some work in that space, how much of a concern is it?
Oh, goodness. I love the question because I feel like everybody should be talking about child nutrition and the impact, not just now, but for the future of our children. Currently now, there's a health crisis globally, whether it's the United Nations speaking, UNICEF, everybody is talking about it. Childhood obesity and other very, very completely missable.
We know what's causing the obesity, don't we?
Oh, we do. We're going to have a conversation about that. So whether it's, everybody's talking about it. And the beautiful thing is that if we create enough awareness, we can actually push it back. Even though it's almost at pandemic levels, we can push it back. Because what we do now, you were talking about, we're not just voting for our people. For now, we're voting for the future of our children. The way I look at health is when we do the right things for our children now, we future-proof their health, which is really important. Because in the health crisis, which is worsening, drugs alone will fail. So we can't just say, oh, we will take drugs. Because there are times, I don't know if anyone can relate, there are times when you're taking drugs, but it's not working as much because it's a holistic approach we must now take to fighting disease, especially diet-related health conditions. So we take our drugs, yes. However, we can be proactive, meaning that we start to use food as preventative medicine, especially for our children, so that all of the crises would not affect them so much as they grow older.
First of all, okay, I've asked that question, how much of a problem is it? So, how much aware are parents and caregivers to children about this concern that you've expressed?
So in my work as a health coach, I work with a lot of families and mothers, and I would say that from the beginning, somehow we have been schooled in the wrong information. So it almost looks like when your children start to go to school, there's just some things we want to put in their lunch boxes. It's like Holy Grail. There are things that we think must be in their lunch boxes, so we put it there. However, one thing I like to say is ask yourself why. For example, why do we have those packaged drinks in our children's lunch boxes?
How would they know that we can afford it if we don't put it?
Exactly, Mr. A.
That's the reason why we put it?
Sometimes that's the reason why. Because it's just normal. I mean, your children open their lunch boxes and we don't have these drinks. It's almost like they're deprived of something.
So we should be putting in water, right?
We should be putting in water, and we should start that right early. Because I personally did not start it early. I was also a victim. Once my children, I have 2 kids, once my kids started school, of course, as a happening mom, how would they know? I had to show. So I remember going and buying all of that in cartons.
Yes, of
Please.
Course. Of course.
And I'll put it. But when I started to ask, why? Like, who told me to do this? Because there's no handbook that says this must happen.
Yeah.
And when I flipped it for my children, it was like war in my house.
And what are you talking about?
My kiddos are like, everybody else is bringing it.
Yeah.
And they felt deprived. Like, Mommy, why? I mean, this is now maybe 5 years ago. But now the good thing is that even schools are coming into that level of awareness and equipping through policies the parents, meaning that there are legitimately schools in Nigeria, in Lagos today, who do not have a junk food policy, meaning no junk is allowed in the school.
Well, it so happens that I found reason to just buy these things that you normally buy in the previous school, and then my wife goes, you don't accept those things, so no snacks. I say, eh? Why? Initially, it's either you bring fruits and water with their food, or you bring nothing. Said, that saves me money.
Yes.
Only for me to find out that actually the fruits themselves ain't.
Mr. A.
You know, when I was growing up, there were things which we ate. Okay, there was no junk at that time, so we ate good food. But I'm not sure that we had the kind of nourishment which we needed. So whereas we had a lot more children who had polio, a lot more children who had, well, things that people don't even know about these days, things like jigar and all that. I'm sure you don't even know what that is. To now, you telling us now that children are unhealthy, but they're not unhealthy like children of my days were unhealthy. They are healthy on the other side of the spectrum. I mean, I'm trying to get all that in. Whereas they were thin then because of lack of nourishment, now they are obese because of eating the wrong things. I'm trying to, sort all that one out in my brain. So, the children are eating better now, right?
Maybe eating more?
We're eating more and eating more of the wrong things.
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Okay.
That's a beautiful dynamic, because studies actually show now within Nigeria, we don't have a lot of statistics in Nigeria, but there's actually a study within Nigeria that shows that the higher the socioeconomic status of a family goes,
the more junk
the more
eat.
junk. I'm like, so like you're saying, Lady Alero, we literally are equipped with the finances and the wherewithal
to kill ourselves,
nourish our children better. Because now we can have, if you have the money, like you were talking of how expensive fruits are, there's some that are really fancy and expensive. We can invest in that direction. However, we're using the money to buy disease and sickness for our children. And that's why I say we should stop and ask why. Can I give this analogy? Can I go ahead with the analogy?
Yes.
So if you, and it happens to all of us, you pay for something with an ATM card, sometimes you don't get the debit alert immediately. So you're still dealing with the former amount in your card.
Yes.
And especially end of the month, I mean, we're in that season
And
now.
then suddenly the alert comes in.
So
And it destabilizes you.
Imagine that we keep taking these decisions that are not healthy for our children, but sometimes we're not even seeing the impact. Doesn't mean the impact is not there. Doesn't mean your account balance did not go down. You just didn't get the alert. One day the alert will come. And that's what it is for our children, because their parents who are probably listening and saying, oh, but my kids are fine. For years, they've been taking it.
Yeah, they look fine.
They look fine.
Until you open the app, then you now see the back.
Mr. Hey, you went there before me. If you want to know how things really are, open the app. Go take your children. And that's something we don't do. Lady A, you would agree with me that you do your health checks, right? As we grow older, I do my health checks, but how many times do we do it for our children?
Oh, they're fine.
They're children, they don't need health checks.
Yeah, let me ask you this. Sometimes, really, parents have a tough time persuading their kids to eat certain things. Yes or yes?
Yes.
Vegetables.
This air has just been there.
It's not me. She said it.
It's you.
It's not me.
It's you.
Now, so in that space, what are the options open to parents?
Okay.
We've had a parent here, you remember, who said she would incentivize the children to take vegetables.
Don't say incentivize. Bribe. You're speaking grammar.
Oh my
Bribe
God.
the children to eat vegetables. If you eat this, you will get this.
I didn't did it.
Yes.
She did. Anyway, so in that space, the parents themselves have to go to work. They're already running late. The father already went. The mother is trying to get ready. You understand? She's been there. She has been there. Let's just put it nicely like that. And they don't want to, for parents who don't want to leave it all to the house help or the caregivers and all, they want to do some of these things themselves, and you still have to do the arduous work of persuading your child to eat what is good for them. Here we go.
Okay. Before I even get into that, because that's hard work, and I have been there. I remember putting stuff in my kid's mouth, and he's just putting it in and in. And when I'm done, he's just like, oh, he just projectile vomits everything on me. I'm like,
oh God.
Don't worry, I understand that look.
So before we even talk about what to do there, I want to beg every mom of young children, please start early. Because if we start early, we will make the work so much easier. And because I coach and train moms, I've seen it. I've seen children who like broccoli and who like carrots and who prefer fruits.
Pause.
For real.
Pause. My kids, we buy these fruits sometimes. My kids will say, I don't want broccoli. I didn't give it to you in the first place. So don't make, whatever it is about yourself. Kids like these vegetables you're talking about?
No kidding. My children right now, they don't have so much of an option because I've done that switch, even though it was hard. So the first thing I would say, oh God. The first thing I would say is please don't start down the wrong path. It's just easier. Of course, we all know that it's easier to start on the right path than to
correct.
Yes, it's a lot. Now, if this has happened, the first thing I'm going to say is it is going to be hard. I feel like if we know from the beginning, any lifestyle change is hard for adults and for children. Notoriously hard. So when psychologists look at these changes, lifestyle changes, we literally rank, and I say we because I'm going in that direction too, we literally rank eating healthy, learning to eat healthy with quitting smoking. That's how hard, because those are lifestyle changes and they're major. So when a mom or a dad goes into this thing like this is going to be a fight, This is going to be hard. I feel like it gives you the first momentum to even go on. That's number one. Number two, you are going to have to be patient. It won't change immediately. You can be on the journey for a year, and it's okay.
A year?
Yes, because it's a year that's seed in the ground.
A year to tell my children to eat the right thing that I can afford.
There must be a way that mothers make those vegetables to make them attractive to children.
And I was going to also get to that place. So,
yes.
I just wanted to speak to the mindset we bring to it first, because sometimes we just think, oh, it's going to be easy. For some children, they're fantastic. The flip and the switch is easy, but for some, it's not.
But for some, it's
not.
forever.
For many.
Like me.
No, if I work with you, Lady A, I promise you, if I work, I don't only talk to children.
I found a solution.
Okay.
I do a lot of salads.
Oh, I love it. You're getting it in.
You can't get me to eat, what is that thing called? That's
broccoli?
No. That Hausa soup, that Calabar soup that a lot of Edikaikong. You can't get me to eat it if you paid me in dollars.
Why?
I can't eat it.
Why is that?
I just don't like vegetables when they've gone brown.
Okay, so back to the children. Another thing I've learned working with a lot of moms is there are many ways to get it done. Sometimes we're just stuck in the traditional way. For example, when my kids too didn't want carrots, and because I didn't start on time too, they didn't want carrots and all. Guess what I started to do? I would blend it all in and put it in the stew.
Chicken, huh?
They're getting exactly what they need.
Chicken,
and you know what happens? We're also training their taste buds to like it and to enjoy it. And please, we have to put in effort to cooking our children's food. You have to literally cook it with love. So when I do things like that, yes. And when I do things like that, my children are getting exactly what they need, even though not in the conventional form. These days, bless God for YouTube. If you sit with YouTube and then you want to learn to bake, there are healthier ways to bake, almost stealthy ways to include all of the healthy things into what we're baking. And your children pick it. And they're like, wow, this is really yummy. And they don't know that it's all healthy, which is why I said it takes time. There's trial, there's error, there's frustration, there's tears. I've cried too. But it's like, no, let me just take it to the next level. The day a doctor tells you that if you do not change this child's diet, you lose the child, you would immediately make room for it.
Of course.
But why do we want to wait to get there? My point is, and that's why I shout a lot about this thing, we all need to become proactive for the sake of our children. So first of all, if you haven't started, please don't start at all. As you have your babies, train them up right from the beginning. Put them on the straight and narrow when it comes to healthy eating. If your children are already veering in that direction, please recognize that it's going to take time and it's going to be hard. It's a lifestyle change. Be patient. Try many things. Let technology help you. Use tech. We didn't have it, Lady A, you were talking about the olden days. We didn't have technology, but today we have it. So once we come in with that mindset and we're armed with practical tools, I can assure you that your children will change. Children are malleable.
You know how babies used to be fed in those days?
Tell me.
You lie the baby on your lap. And then
Force feeding?
Yes. I mean, I look at that now and I wonder, were they trying to kill those children?
Did it work?
But
honestly,
the children used to eat and throw up when they were crying all the time, and half the time they were there naked. You didn't see them with any clothes on.
I don't know where you grew up from, but my mommy will give you food, and you will vomit it, and you eat it.
You eat the
vomit. You will just know. Some of them are watching right now. They're like, my mommy will give you food. And you just say, in fact, you know when children want to vomit, they're looking at the parents. Like, they'll be looking at you.
Just take it back in.
They burn you well.
Bring it up.
But, Mr. A, you know that there are children like that now. We're not necessarily force feeding them. but we've trained them. So there was a program I did last year, and I had to interview various moms. And some of the feedback, we had moms who legitimately said their children have been trained to receive, so far it's not allergic and you're not going to die from it, to receive whatever is put in front of them and give thanks. There are parents like that. Because I've let you know that I'm running I'm not running a hotel at home where you get to pick what you want. So there are legitimately children who today in love, not because they're afraid, not because, but because this is how their parents have trained them, that what we put in front of you, you receive
grateful
it
for,
and you give thanks.
Because there are many who don't have anything to eat.
That's a very wonderful one to look at there, but can you help me understand this? Many parents grew up in a particular way. Just as we are saying now, she just remembered or helped us to remember force feeding. There are some who are right now having that
nightmare.
Yes. That traumatic experiences playing back in their heads.
Yes.
Like, how did we survive? So some parents they grew up that way, and they're wondering how it is difficult for their own children to simply just eat what you are served.
Full stop.
Why do I have to
Save me the
negotiate
stress
with you? Help parents understand their own kids. You asked the question why the other time. Many people don't even know why we need to have children. So, help us to understand why you have to, as the Igbo man will say, negotiate. Help us understand why there is the need for that conversation with children these days. Help parents understand. And, okay, go that one first before we talk about how they can manage their time.
Okay. Oh, I love that question. Why did you even bring it in at all? Because it just got my head spinning. Okay. When it comes to how we feed our children and all of that, you know that negotiation doesn't only happen at the dining table over food. Children are smarter and wiser these days. So they're negotiating many things with us. My kids were negotiating a tab recently with me, and I heard all kinds of things. I was just tired, like, Mommy, why can we not? Mommy, so I love it because it frees up their creativity. It makes them more confident. We don't want to say, because I said so. If I say that, I'm just being a lazy mom, because I can engage my children in conversation. So the same way we have those conversations around, oh, can I go to this friend's house, or can I go to this party, or can I get a tab or a phone? It's okay to actually have negotiations over food. Because, yes, it's okay, because that's it. That's the way I treat my children, as people who are actually going to be adults. So when you ask me why, if I don't know, I will get my phone and say, okay, let's look at it. Let's look at what the statistics are saying. Let us see what I would show them, literally pictures of people in hospitals as a result of this. I show them all of that. Our children, we all know that children these days are way smarter. They come out smart. So you use technology to show them.
Yeah, they come with technology in their brain.
What are they called again?
AI Gen.
Alpha generation. Gen Zs.
No, we're talking lower than Gen Zs.
Alphas are the newborns.
Alphas are from 2010 till now.
2010.
Okay. So those generation.
So yours are alphas.
Yes, oh, sure.
Over Sabis. They came with computers in their hands.
For real. So it's okay to educate them. So they're seeing all of this information online. They know why this is important to them. So we can't just let our children say, because I said so. Because I said so is not going to fly anymore. So I think the parents, it's okay for me to, I'm a health mindset coach. One of the things I do a lot is to get into the mind of people. So when I tell the mom that it's okay for my children to ask me, Mommy, why am I taking this? Mommy, why is everybody bringing this and I'm not bringing it? Because if you keep telling them, because I said so, or we shut them up, we're doing something to their self-esteem.
In fact, we didn't even get round to getting to the point where we asked why.
It's different
You
now,
did it because
Alera.
Mom said, do it, full stop. You didn't ask why. Who born you to they ask why?
Mommy, why?
Why?
You just...
Why?
Backhand. No. My daddy will just say, go to that corner. You know what to do.
Put your hand up.
Once you say, no, that's leisurely. Once my daddy says, go to that corner, hold your two Yes, like this.
Oh, God.
Go down.
Tokum.
Yes, time management.
Froggy.
Yes, so let me land on that thought,
Okay.
if it's okay. So when we come with that mindset to our children and you're bringing them along, the children have ownership to the process. These are things that we see in adulthood. Why would you adhere to something, Mr. A? Because you feel like, oh, I was a part of the process, I was carried along, which is why it's so important that we bring our kids into the cooking process. Don't just put it in front of them. I tell my children, come, I have just boys. Come stay with me in the kitchen. Let's do this together. The more they're carried along in the process, adherence is higher. So don't exclude them and just bring it to the table. Bring them in. And it's interesting because I'm authoring a book with my children on child nutrition. And it's amazing the ideas that they bring to the table because they're really smart. So some of the problems and challenges we have, the solution is even with our children. Bring them into the process and we'll see miracles literally happen.
Okay, well, someone has reacted to you saying Eziaha is very respectful, making sure she doesn't call Makinde Ayo and Alera Edu by name. Child of God must show good behavior.
Oh my God.
I didn't say that.
Oh my goodness.
Okay, now, to the time management thing.
Yes.
How her time is choked. She's a mother, but she's first of all a wife. She's a career woman. She's also a child probably to some parent somewhere, and she has friends. She has social whatever. She has an organization, perhaps possibly have a boss to report to. And I have to
Or she's running an organization
she's
herself.
running an organization herself that she's responsible to some people. And I have to be respectful to some minions.
To some minions. Oh, your children. Mr. A. Okay. So the question, I want to get it clearly.
How does she manage her time?
How does she manage her time? I like to do the math. It's because I don't just run into situations. I do the math. Literally, how we have papers here, I would bring out a solid paper and do the math. And even though I have the privilege of being a mom who works from home and runs her own business, I have friends who have to work for other people and their time is not theirs, and they have their time is not 100% theirs, and they have children and they have other responsibilities in addition to being a wife.
They have husbands.
Yes, in addition to being a wife. So the most important thing is to do the math first of all. Bring a paper, do the math. What are the things most important to you in this season? One thing I know, and I have a friend who, it was an intention, and I'm not saying that people should do this, it was an intentional decision to take a break from her career and take care of her children for some years. And after that, she was happy to go back. I'm not saying that.
I did that.
Oh, wow, fantastic. So first of all, there's a mindset. There's something you have to tell yourself to actually do that. So some people can do that. Bring it out. What is important to me in this season? My children will not be children forever. And sometimes when we bring a lot of energy to the process, meaning give it attention, intensity, we shortcut how long it would take. So maybe it would have taken us such a longer time to do it, but we bring intensity, we bring energy to the process. Somehow we shorter. What is important to me? I've had friends literally would take leave, and all they're doing is not to travel. They're like, I want to sort out the kitchen of my home. Let me get my help, my nanny, my cook, my domestic help. Let me get them and teach them how I want them to go. Christmas time, they're not traveling. They're sitting down and putting systems and structures within their home. It's what is important to me, Mr. A. The same thing too. I choose to say I will get a driver, or I'll get a nanny that is not just a regular help, but someone who is educated. Then I'm in partnership with that person to instill the kind of values, especially food values, I want around my home. So you see, the conversation has elevated. Now I'm looking for partners. Now I'm using my money because, why? We're career women, we go outside the home, so definitely we're making a little bit more money. Now, how can I use that money to help my children? It's a sophisticated thinking process. And I want to give parents the permission to think like that. What is important to me? And if it's not important to me, I can take it out of my plate for now. If I decide that my children and their health and their nutrition is important to me, I would make room for it. I mean, even for things like how much time we spend on social media, what time we sleep. Because look at the mornings. A lot of times we're rushed in the mornings. There's a lot of compromise with breakfast because we're just trying to get the children out of the door and keep ourselves sane. One thing that I do for my children is their bedtime is so early, 6:30 p.m. We don't always make it, but by 7:30 tops, they're asleep. What it means is that when we wake up, and of course, just the simple things of, there's something called mise en place. It's used in the culinary world, where a chef, before he starts to cook, everything, he or she starts to cook, everything is laid out. So we're not looking for the onions and the garlic and something is burning.
She's speaking French to you.
Yes, mise en place.
Mise en place.
So
which means literally put in place.
Put in place.
You see? Isn't that easier?
But there's no such expression in English.
So put in place is not an expression?
No, sir. It doesn't carry the weight. Yeah, so put everything in place. So when we wake up, what are they eating? What are they packing in their lunch boxes? Everything is ready. You wake up empowered to actually go and win the day. We're not rushing. We're not compromising.
Okay.
And that's very important.
For those who are wondering what the English we are speaking is all about, please describe a sensible, healthy lunchbox.
Oh, I love it. I love it. So
you can literally see the lunchbox right there.
The way your eyes went.
Yes. I saw it. Oh, goodness. So we have something called My Plate. I'm just going to use global best practices. So in the US, we have something called My Plate, which is basically a nice representation of what should be in the child's plate at every meal. So my plate is divided in, I wish I could just show that picture. My plate is divided into 4 parts. Okay. And they're not equal, but they're 4 parts. In the first part, you have healthy grains, or what we call carbohydrates, but healthy carbohydrates. At this point, you're thinking...
In this environment, such as
yes, what? At this point, you're thinking rice, but I'm thinking more brown rice.
Okay.
We can start to have that conversation, but let's say rice. There's beans. I know a lot of us think beans is protein, but it's a lot of carb.
But you know that children don't like beans.
Oh, goodness. I want to argue with that, Mr. A, because beans...
It depends on how you cook it.
Yes.
You're speaking English.
No, Mr. A, I deal with children.
I have children.
And there's no food that every child likes.
Let me shock you. I think I was the only child on the face of God's earth who loved cod liver oil growing up.
Wow.
I could not eat rice or yam with stew. It had to be cod liver oil.
Like no stew?
Take that.
Just rice and cod liver oil?
Yeah.
Yes. There's a wide spectrum. People will be at different ends. People will be at different ends.
All of a sudden, there is a spectrum now.
I was the only child in this world because no child could stand cod liver oil.
At some point, my younger brother said he does not eat yam. Found out later that the only reason he doesn't want to eat yam is because he didn't want to be the one to peel it, because it used to scratch his body. You were saying something about it.
Okay, so there's rice.
All kinds of tricks.
There's potato. There's yam. You just mentioned that. So that kind of covers for the healthy grains.
That's the one
part of the plate, yes.
Part 2.
The second part of the plate will be healthy proteins. So that's where you want to put the animal protein if you're giving your children that. So there's fish, there's chicken. As much as possible, limit red meat. Because you have alternatives. It's not like so limited. We can do fish, we can chicken, we can do goat's meat. It's one of the leanest and one of the healthiest for the children. And this is not just for children, but we're zoning in on children, right? So there's that healthy protein.
Okay.
Now on the
part 3.
on the third part of the plate, we have fruits. Eat the rainbow. Just go as wide and as far and as lovely as you want. Let them eat the rainbow. I'm saying these things have to be on their plate. So whether they're taking oranges, tangerines, apples, there has to be something that your children love and enjoy. The more colorful, the better. Now on the 4th part of the plate.
Sorry, go on.
Divided into 4 now.
Yes, my plate is 4. Let me run through it again, Mr. A.
Now, Buffy.
No.
Go.
And And I'll take it really practical when I'm done, so we see how easy it can be. And on the fourth part of the plate will be vegetables. Lady Aleros, like, I don't like vegetables, but any kind of vegetables, carrots, cabbage, cucumbers, anything that works for your children. Like I said, there are ways to incorporate it into. So now imagine one plate. You have yam. Let's use yam as an example. You're giving your children yam to school, boiled yam, put in the plate. Now you have stew. Remember, tomatoes, they're vegetable too. And then maybe you have put like carrots and all of that into it. You blended it in. Then you made egg sauce. That's a healthy protein that you have put in there. And you can choose to add fish, a little bit of fish to the food. Or the egg is already fine, right? You put all of that there. And then you give them a fruit, tangerine, orange, banana, because you can't really take like watermelon to school just for preservation. You have to be careful what you give them to school because you don't want any kind of issues.
Mess.
Now that is a healthy plate. Boiled yam, stew, egg sauce, which is made with stew, and you put some veggies in it, and then you put a fruit. And you're good, that's it. It could be potatoes, it could be beans and plantain too. And then just put, I do this, I put carrots, you shred the carrots into small, put it right into the beans, and then everybody just enjoys it. That's what should be there. And guess what is outside the healthy plate? Water. Do you know that, like, legitimately, the United Nations tells us that children, in fact, there are other organizations that go as far as 5 years old. Children under the ages of 5 should only have water and milk. Like, they're not supposed to have any other drink.
And milk.
Water, and this is standard organizations. They're saying this is what children should have. So when you've put that nice food in the lunchbox, you put water or milk. I didn't even know. So when I started to talk to global educators, in some countries, you're not even allowed to bring in anything else. For them, it's like, they have reasons for doing it, but you only bring water and milk to school. That's what children are allowed to bring. So it's not a status thing. It's not a status thing. It's a healthy thing.
So how much are schools in Nigeria adhering to this?
So the good thing about that is that for some schools, it's even compulsory. You can't.
Water.
Yes, you can. So when the child brings any other thing, the good thing is that there's always water in the school. So for my children's school, they have days that you're allowed to bring only fruits and water. If you bring any kind of junk, they put it back in your lunchbox and send it home to you.
No, but suppose you're giving them freshly squeezed oranges in a water bottle.
Okay, that's fine, but I think about it this way. How many hours are children in school? And how many hours are they at home? They can have the healthy squeezed orange juice at home. And especially because fruits don't have a long shelf life. Actually, foods were not made to have a long shelf life. You start to know what is unhealthy and not very healthy by how long the shelf life is. So I give you oranges, freshly squeezed, and how many schools are going to put it in the fridge and then not have any child taking another child's own and all of that?
It's in my water bottle.
But not many schools will put it in the fridge. Plus, you want to protect your child. You don't just want to put it in this public place. So imagine that I have the fruit juice or even a smoothie right there, and then something happens to it and it gets bad. I can give my children that at home. So my kiddo school will send it right back to you. And then the good thing is that there's water in the school. So we can drink as much water as we want.
Allow me to...
The picture. The picture.
Are you seeing it?
Your teddy bear. Your teddy bear sandwich.
You've told us some of the bad behavior, bad lifestyle behaviors that we let's call it what it is. You heard her say the other time, it's not incentive, it's bribe. Okay. Now, there is something that I don't know how prominent it is. You are also a fitness coach.
Yes, I am.
Fitness for children is hardly talked about. Have you heard about that before? Fitness for children.
Because they're so active anyway. They're so active.
Now, I'm talking about intentional fitness for children.
Is it because the child is obese or what?
No. But at least
as a lifestyle.
Yes.
As a lifestyle.
Okay, so I just recently instituted something at home. They are always jumping around the place. I said every day, 6 p.m. Even if it is for just 10 minutes, let there be some kind of exercise routine. I got home yesterday. Was it yesterday or the day before yesterday? My daughter was saying, "Did you do exercise yesterday?" And yes, she did. She was telling me that they did. What's that thing?
Press up.
Is it press up you people call
Push
it?
up. What?
Push ups.
Push ups.
See, even me, I cannot do one. But you can do. And I was excited. But
Love it.
Tell us, because as you grow older, the challenge is you won't do it. I know. You swim and then you play tennis.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
When did they start?
Push up. No, they've always played tennis. Thank you.
We know.
So
Tell us about that, because I'm saying that because essentially what you're saying is people need to start the children on a routine that they will get used to and grow up, up with that. So many people cannot do one push-up now because they didn't even know what it meant until about 5 or 6 years ago. So tell us about that for children.
I love it. So we're not going to discount what Lady Alera said about they play a lot. They're already very active.
No, certainly.
Because that's very important. When I was growing up, we had the privilege of playing downstairs, right? We would run around with all kinds of things. And that's really, it's not just play, it's exercise. It's doing something for the heart. However, these days, for security issues or maybe for time constraint, we would not necessarily take our children. I do it intentionally down. So, for example, today, my boys are registered in a football academy. So as I was coming here, my husband was taking all of them to the football academy. That's something we can do, right? Another thing we can do, and a lot of parents don't know this, we do it at home. On YouTube, there are exercises for children. And they're fun and they're happy, and even children have smartwatches for them. That's such a motivation for any child because they can see like, oh, I want to make sure, children walk. We're still trying to hit 10,000 steps. Our children can take 22,000
without even thinking about
it. Moving. So when you get your children the smartwatch, the sports watch, it's such a motivation because they're like, oh my goodness, I have to make whatever number of steps. Then you get on YouTube, buy them workout wears. You have to motivate them on this thing. And these are things I do. My children have workout wears, right down to the shoes, so that we can work out at home. As a family, you can take walks. It's almost a tradition in my home. There are days when we get up and we take these long walks. And don't underestimate your children because they can walk. They can just take water.
That is if they're even patient enough to walk.
How do you mean?
And not run.
Exactly. Just hold them well because of the roads. Like, just hold them well. So there's that. Then I like to say that if there's some kind of reward chart for it, because children are very motivated by rewards and incentives. So imagine just having a chart where we're like, if you work out 5 times a week, we tick, and then you reward them with something. Please don't reward children with junk, because sometimes they're like, if you do all of this, I'll give you a drink. I'm like, no, there are many other rewards.
I'll buy you ice cream.
Exactly. I'm like, why are we doing that? So when my children are healthily competitive, they want to see those tricks.
You can get half hour of computer time.
All kinds of rewards, especially, if that hour of computer time is very targeted, you're using it to achieve something. Yes. So whatever reward is, so I've talked about various things. Get on YouTube. You see the children doing the videos. So it's not like adults are leading, the children are doing the videos. So it's such motivation for your own children. Take walks as a family. Take walks. Just grab water, please. Take walks as a family. Get them workout wears. Get them, if they're old enough, you can get them like smartwatches for children. Then use reward charts so that they can see their progress. Then truly give them some kind of incentive. But where possible, let them also play downstairs.
Now, the reason I raised that as an issue is because, as you said, we had the privilege of rolling tires on the roads and throwing sticks and playing football, omoliri, on the road, felele. You don't even know what this was. Don't worry, we are boys. So we had those privileges, irrespective of what part of the country is, people were able to do those things. But today, as you identified, you lock up the compound.
Security.
Today, in most cases, most homes don't have the privilege of a spacious compound. And where there is a spacious compound, cars are parked there already. So they only have their rooms or living rooms to do those things. That's why I asked that question. So you're going to expatiate a little further on it. Where you have space constraints and you find it, you're looking at your children in another 10, 15, 20 years, and you want them to be healthy. You want them to have a routine that is healthily competitive, that they will be healthy, they will be happy, they will not be depressed, because I know that exercises helps people to get over a number of things. So that's the reason. In the event of a constraint of space, constraint of time, how do we go about that?
Okay. The goal is to make it a lifestyle, right? Where we don't,
absolutely.
That's the goal. But I'm happy to also start small. If we can't get it done, I mean, standard practice is 5 times a week workout. You don't have to work out 7 times a week. So if we can't get it done 5 days, in fact, before I go there, let's go to schools, because break time in school is so important. And then these days is also beginning to be compromised, where they sit in the class for break. So you must have a conversation with your children's school and insist that when it's time for break, please let them go downstairs, because the school will always have some space to run and to play. And every school has sports days at least once a week. So make sure that they're doing something in those sports days, and of course at break time. Now, when it comes to making it a lifestyle, and then there's space constraint, and then there's time constraint, can you take out one day in a week? Just start. Don't wait till it's perfect. Don't wait till you have all those days. Go around your neighborhood. You will always find somewhere that has a field, that has this open space. It is everywhere. The good thing is that some estates these days intentionally build playgrounds right into the estate. But sometimes even the field of a school, that you can just let them just go around and exercise. Take walks with your children. Just hold them. I'm very particular about holding them well, because listen, they can just, is very important. Safety, and then even just accidents, you want to be careful of that. So take what you have. The beautiful thing is that once you start, momentum is built, and then you start to find other ways. Take your 1 day a week. Insist that the school,
they will be the ones to remind you.
Yes.
Mommy, aren't we going for a walk today?
I'm telling you.
Your
One day, my
accountability partners.
My daughter was 5. I think around 7:38. Asked the mom, "Are we not going to pray?" Meanwhile,
habit.
That's their sleep time. So now you've talked about. We're winding down now. Okay, just a quick one. Let's take a quick feedback from Kelly, my colleague in Surulere. Kelly, any improvements?
Well, not at all, Ayo. We've been moving around, but just a moment ago, I must mention the Chief of Staff to Mr. President, Mr. Femi Gbajabamila, was just here a moment ago to cast his vote, and shortly after that, of course, the whole place looks like it's back to normal. Take a look at what is going on here. We have election observers just seated here, party agents as well, just here ensuring that at 2:30 p.m. when voting is going to stop, they are on ground to ensure that their votes are counted, and of course, come closer and just let's see how we can do our viewers what it looks like here. I understand about 669 persons registered to vote in this particular polling station, Elizabeth Fowler polling unit. But at the moment, as 10 minutes ago when I asked, I understand just about 59 persons had voted at that time. I don't know what the number looks like right now, but we have INEC officials here on ground ensuring that people who have registered, who have their voters card, can also come here and vote. But it's still a bit scanty. I mean, if 669 persons registered to vote, and right now you can see they are just here waiting for more persons to turn up and just exercise their franchise as well. A few persons we've spoken to let's say the process is absolutely seamless. It's not as what we used to experience a few years ago. This time around, I mean, everything is done simultaneously, accreditation and voting almost simultaneously at the same time. Just a few pockets of journalists hanging around here, party agents, election observers as well, here from this particular constituency, Surulere Constituency 1, being on ground, trying to ensure that everything goes on as smoothly as possible. Ayo.
Kelly, thank you so much for your reporting. Of course, we'll still be taking more reports from you subsequently at the top of the hour. I'm very sure that a report will be in for people to know what's going on in the various parts of Nigeria where elections are supposed to take place. Thank you so much for your time and your reporting, Kelly. Well, that's an update right there. We're hoping that, I mean, at the end of the day, the needful will be done in the interest of all of us. Well, our time is up. Eziaga Bolaji Olojo, certified child nutritionist. Truly appreciate your time this morning.
Thank you so much.
Anyway, let's just say the conversation continues, Abby, as always. Okay, she didn't come to beat you today.
Discussion continues.
She didn't come to beat you today.
No.
You're happy with this one?
For once. You're leaving me a very happy woman.
Oh, really?
Normally, they come and tell me things that scare me all the time.
Like, don't eat cake. That's a show
Don't
today.
eat chocolate.
Oh, well, you shouldn't be eating chocolate. I would.
What's that?
Yeah, we have heard you.
You only live once.
Yes, please. After
And you
this
only
program,
live once, which is that's where we anchor today's program. Please remember, you only live once. So eat all the things you want to eat, but eat healthily. And give your children healthy food. Only milk and water. That's what WHO recommends. Remember all of that. And don't forget that you can go to, what's that thing again? Rewards? Yes, www.cashtokenreward.ng. Reward, there's no S on the end.
by the way,
Don't forget.
We need to push out your comment to people. You have an Instagram handle or something?
Yes, that would be Coach E Nation.
Coach E.
Coach E.
Coach as in the one that coaches.
Coach, yes. E
Nation.
Nation, yes.
Nation.
Yes, and then the
Coach
website
E
is coache.ng.
Okay, all right. Okay.
Okay, thank you very much for spending your morning with us this first Saturday in the month of February. We'll hope to see you again. Well, not see you, be with you again next Saturday. I'm Alera, wishing you all the best until then.
Well, you can see us. I can also see you in the spirit. Have a wonderful rest of your weekend and a beautiful week ahead. I'm Ayoma.